Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the day of the video. Darren, how's it going today? Today it is quite late. I'm about to head off to shopping, but I've been writing my shopping list and watching the live blogging of the Apple keynote thing because I had an Apple keynote today, and I just like to pitch in, right? If I ever said, you know what, I might buy a 10 grand watch, right? And what I was going to buy was essentially this iPod here was essentially that, but encased in gold, right? Fucking shoot me. I literally just sat waiting for them to drop the bombshell of the price. I heard it was going to be about 10k, and it was. Fucking £10,000 for a watch, right? Okay, two things. £10,000 for a watch, by all means, do that. If you've got 10k to drop on a watch, do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to be fair, no, I only like the cheaper nice watches because the nice, like the 10 grand watches are all like too massive and stupid looking. But 10k watch, right? Fine, but it's a fucking iPod. It's got a battery. That battery is going to be fucked in 2 years. And that's assuming that Apple don't bring out another watch. They don't bring out another watch in like a year's time, which makes yours completely inferior. First, if you ever take any of my advice, ladies and gentlemen, never get the first generation of anything. The first generation always sucks. The iPad 1 sucked. iPhone 1 sucked. iPad 2, iPhone 2, that's where it got good. iPad 2, that's where it got good. The Android Wear smartwatches, for example, most of the earlier ones have all been rubbish, but now they're coming out better and they've got better battery life and all that kind of shit. Or they were really clunky. Do you remember the ones they first announced, like the Samsung Gear and shit, were shit because they were the first generation. They don't know what they're doing, they're guessing. So they've made their first attempt at a smartwatch. They thought they'd price it at 10k. This is the most expensive one. To be fair, they do one for about £350. But $350. We don't know UK prices, but I can almost guarantee it'll be about the same. It's normally like for like, isn't it? Because we get taxed to hell and back on technology goods. But for 10k, and people will turn around and say, yeah, but it's made out of gold. Lewis, right now, is on Facebook, saying, yeah, but it's made out of gold. I'm like, yeah, but you can get a gold Rolex for that, and it won't die in 2 years, and you won't want to get rid of it in 2 years, and you won't be embarrassed of it in 2 years. It's literally brilliant. I wish I could watch a live stream of them saying £10,000. And it starts from £10,000, depending on what band you have. It could be more. It could be more. That is absolutely ridiculous. Anyone who buys that has more money than sense. Fucking hell. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I've been against smartwatches like ever from the start. I don't understand the idea of smartwatches in any way, shape or form. Like, I like my watch. Like a watch, right? I'll tell you what, it's supposed to do two things. Tell you the time reliably. This tells me the time reliably. Absolutely, it tells me the date almost reliably, although I do have to change that every second month, depending on how many days there are in the month, because that can be quite annoying, to be fair. But also, it's reliable. I'm pretty certain the battery is not going to die when it's solar powered as well. So when the battery does start to die, it charges itself. And I know that if I'm just on a table, I could just go like that, and I know full well that the time's there. I can just look at it and go like that, right? The second thing that I think, the second thing that I like about watches, personally, is that watches are a jewellery. It's like, what's it like? It's like what I was telling you yesterday about like how I wear clothes based on the fact that I like them and that no one else will wear them. Like, that's the idea about thingy. Like, at the end of the day, guys, men, hello, have two things that they can like show off about. Like, there's two things where you can measure your dick without just slapping it on the table. Those two things are your wallet and your your wallet and your watch. They're the two things that like all guys have, but it's rare that you ever find someone with the same of your thing, because there's just so many different kinds of watches. Your watch tells a lot about you. You can tell a lot about a person by the watch they wear, right? So, likewise the wallet as well, but to a lesser extent. But girls have like loads of jewellery, they can have loads of different things, they can do the hair in loads of different ways. There are only so many ways you can do your hair as a guy. There's only so many ways you can do that many things. So it's like, you express yourself, in my eyes, with a watch. Me and Lewis have talked about this as well. I don't know if it's just us, but like, I look at people And you can tell what they're like. It's a bit like shoes. If you look at someone's shoes, you know what kind of person they are. Watches are exactly the same as that, but they're a little bit better at it. Like Lewis has a big black in-your-face watch that's just like, I don't like it. I don't like it, but it says a lot about him. It's literally like a direct match between his personality and the watch. If you're very good at it, you should be able to look at a watch. I would say, if you put me in a room of 5 different people that I knew, put their watches on a table, I'd be able to go bam, 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 like that. It's a skill, I think. I might be on my own on this front, but I don't understand why people would want a watch that other people would have. Like, if I started going around, like, I'm talking mass adoption here, which obviously hasn't happened with smartwatches yet, but, like, if I went around and I knew that, say, 20% of people had this watch, I'd get another watch. You know what I mean? I'd just get another one. Like, the annoying thing about phones is everyone has the same phones. Everyone, like, there's millions of phones out there, but, like, all of my friends either have the top-of-the-line Sony Xperia, the top-of-the-line Samsung, the top-of-the-line iPhone, the HTC One, or a Nexus. And the OnePlus One. So you can't express yourself with your phone anymore because everyone has it. I don't understand why you'd pay 10 grand to express yourself with a watch that, one, will be, like, rubbish in 2 years, like, quite frankly, useless in 2 years' time, but 2, that everyone else has. If you're spending 10 grand on a watch, you expect to be the only one that you ever meet with that same watch. I don't ever expect to meet someone with my watch, ever. Ever. Same way with my coat. I don't expect anyone to ever meet to wear this coat, because it would just be, like, it would blow my absolute fucking mind. I've gone off on a ramble here, but either way, £10,000 for a gold iPod Nano with a couple more features and worse battery life is an absolute joke. And even that, the stainless steel one, which is like my watch made out of stainless steel, my watch is here. That's £1,000 between 900 and something and £1,000. So laptop money. That's very nearly Atlas money. You could buy that entire computer and setup. Well, or for that money, almost. You could buy my car for that money, almost. Ever so slightly higher, but almost. So why would you do that? Why would you do that for something? It's madness. For more than a phone. It's more expensive than a phone, and it does less. But yeah, anyway, that's how I've been spending my evening today. I had my dinner and I sat and watched The Verge live blogging the keynote. It's great. Oh man, I wish I could watch it live, to be honest with you. But then you have to I want to watch it live, but I'm not devoted enough to have to download Safari. So I don't want it, because Safari is one of the worst. It's worse than IE, and that's saying something. Otherwise, what's been going on today? A brief overview before I go shopping. Today I've been feeling fine, although I have been feeling like very, very coldy. Like, I'm very bunged up all day, blow my nose a lot, it's kind of gross, but it's what you do, innit? But I've got over the rest of the stuff where I was like starting to feel like dizzy or faint or whatever. That's all gone now. It's just purely cold and like congestion. Is it called congestion? I don't know. But yeah, that's it now, which means my buttercup should be doing a lot better for me, which is good. I should have saved my cold and flu tablets until I was over the worst of the other stuff. But yeah, otherwise we went to work today and I was on the tail of a nice little bug. I ended up having to go around and asking different people about like what they thought about it. We had to reverse engineer the system a little bit, but I found it in the end, fixed 50% of all the issues we're having. And by 50%, it's probably more than 50%. But yeah, so that's good. It's just 50% of like a 200 set sample size. As soon as you bump that up to like 1,000, you're talking 80%. So it was just a bad sample. But yeah, it's that's what I was doing today. And then otherwise we left the day knowing that if you entered the same information, or currently, if you entered the same information on this site and this site, when it got to us, the price difference would be about £2,000. Well, double, roughly. Which is irritating. And I've got to figure out a way to solve that problem, which is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, which is going to be good fun. But otherwise, yeah, I had my curry. Didn't have a naan bread though. Curry without a naan bread is not the same. Like I say, watch the keynote thing. I'm going to go on record and say that the Apple Watch, whatever it is probably going to be the biggest flop Apple have ever done. Ever? Well, not ever. Okay, in my memory, I don't know. They've probably done some proper flops in the past. I've just never looked them up. Apple TV is a bit of a flop, isn't it? Or at least it is in the UK. I don't know about America. But anyway, yeah. And I've written my shopping list, which is on my computer now. And I am about to head out and go shopping. Because that's what I do on Mondays. I have a whale of a time and go shopping. Fun. Right, shoes. Let's roll. It's raining outside as well, which sucks a bit, but we'll survive. How long has there been a dentist in Sainsburys for? Why is it green? Why is it Asda's colours? I'm not going to lie, that is going to be very expensive, unfortunately. Oh, there, partner. That was on the pricey side. So much for £60 a week. In one fucking shop, boys. 75 pounds worth of food. I could have bought a fucking Apple Watch. It's funny because I couldn't have. But Jesus Christ, that's a lot of dollars. A lot of dollar bills there. But a lot of bulk buying as well. Next week is a very cheap shop. Very, very, very cheap. But while it was expensive, I did get a serious amount of deals. And before I had a car, I would never have been able to buy that much stuff because obviously, sorry, I would never have been able to get that kind of stuff home, that kind of quantity that I'm purchasing here. I'd never be able to get that kind of stuff home. So I've been able to, when I do a bulk shop, actually buy quite a lot in bulk because I'm able to take it home with me. Otherwise that would have been like maybe 50 quid. And I wouldn't have got the £25 more other things that were on offer, purely because I couldn't carry it. But we're gonna head home. I've got to freeze all this stuff. That's the worst thing about buying meats, is you've got to freeze it all, which takes the piss to separate it all out into freezable portions. Oh, but yeah, I'm also going to change my CDs. I'm really bored of the CDs in this car. So yeah, we'll do that as well. Oh man, look at this. Look at this. Hold on, let me just put one, my fridge is absolutely jam-packed. And two, my cupboards are also absolutely jam-packed now. But I bought some oranges that are reduced. But not only are they reduced, they're a day out of date. I have to take them back. I'm going to have to get my car and take them back. Is it really worth the petrol to go and take them back? The short answer is yes. I headed off out into the car and drove back with me oranges. Made a bit of a fuss. If you I happen to know that that's not very good, selling outdated stuff, and it's not really in their best interest to do that. And I just wondered, I'm like, hasn't this been done by this time? This is what it should have been done by this time. And she goes around the corner, like berates the guy that's supposed to get rid of out-of-date stuff, and then comes back with ones that are in date. They go, there you go, swap that now, if that's all right. And I'm like, yeah, that's all right, yeah. And then I could see like start to walk away, and I'm like, bloody Bristol, man! You have to properly work to get a bit of kindness out of people in Bristol. You have to properly work it. And I'm like, god damn, that's like it's a pretty big fine, isn't it? Pretty big fine for selling out of date stuff, isn't it? And they're like, she's like, no, not at all, no. She says, oh, because I heard it was 10 grand. She goes, oh right, yeah. And then she like twigged. I think she realised that I knew, because I said like, oh, shouldn't the code checking have been done by now? She seemed to have twigged then that I knew code checking and I knew it was a 10 grand fine. And then I go, well, since it's 10 grand, you give me a grand, give me a grand, and we'll say no more. 10% off. 10%, that's a pretty good deal. And she just kind of laughed, and then I'm like, no, but seriously, I've driven all the way up here. I've just driven a long way to complain about this. She goes, and she's kind of sighed and looked at me, and I'm like, God, don't, like, normally if I did this in Nottingham, they would just throw things at me just to get me out. And she goes, so I go like, well, I'll take 1,000 nectar points then. And she goes, clearly like saw the fact that I wasn't going to go until I had 1,000 next points. She gave me 1,000 next points, which is quite a considerable amount of money, really, in pound coins. I can only spend it there, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It makes the blood oranges pretty cheap indeed. But yeah, so I headed back, made my sandwiches. I've got to take my bin out, but before I take my bin out, I've got to do my meats and stuff. I did a pretty big shop, like I say, 75 quid's worth. And I wanted to make my sandwiches before I made did the rest, because I wanted to use my chopping board basically. But yeah, I'm up to my neck in stuff again. Look, right. So I want these sausages out. These need separated out into separate portions. Big bit of chicken and a big mince as well. Look, 2 minces, a good deal that actually. Well, it's about the same price as the normal mince, but it should be nicer. And then some fried chicken as well. All this needs to be separated out into bloody equal sized portions. And then once I've got all my rubbish ready, I can throw that in the bin. Also, casually take the cat that I rescued out. When I take my bin out, and otherwise I'm going to have to render this video and get you online, because it's actually nearly 10 o'clock. It's been a long evening. But yeah, so I'm going to let her go to sleep for a bit. I'm going to render you out. So yeah, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.